everything. Awareness is everything. Let's put it this way. A person doesn't earn $100,000 a year because they want 100 a year. They're earning 100 a year because they're not aware of how to earn 100 a month. Doesn't that make sense? Our whole point in being here on this planet is to develop awareness. We want to become aware of our oneness with God, or with whatever you call, with that which is. And that the more aware you become that you are actually one with this phenomenal power, the more it's expressed in your results. And that is really the key to this. I mentioned earlier that we were going to do a special class, small group of people. It's going to cost them a fair amount of money, but they're going to develop an awareness fast because there's going to be focus. Focus creates, it increases amplitude of vibration. You're giving more energy to the idea, and the more energy you give, the faster it's going to grow. It's like anything else. Awareness is really everything. That's why as you study, hopefully, if you're on here all week, you become more aware of who you are, what you're capable of doing, than you were last Sunday. Because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've been giving you pretty good information. Listen, we have been conditioned by people that had absolutely no idea of what they were doing. They were good people. They were our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our relatives, our next-door neighbors. The moment of conception, all mom's DNA and all dad's DNA came together, and bingo, that became you. And then it set up an attractive force. And 280 days later, you made your debut on the planet. But when you made your debut on the planet, your subconscious mind was wide open. It was just like an empty cup. And everything that was going on around went into that cup. And that was called a paradigm. A paradigm is nothing but a multitude of ideas that are fixed in your subconscious mind. Well, as you want to make headway, you've got to change that paradigm. There's a program in your subconscious mind that controls your behavior. And if you don't change the program, your behavior doesn't change. And like I've gone into executive offices, sat down maybe with the VP of sales. And I know he's got his computer sitting there. He's got the memory in it. So I know that I can ask him a question like that. He can come up with the answer. And I'll get him to think of a couple of salespeople and tell me their first names. And then let's say it's in, in March. I'd say, do you know, you can go into that computer and you can pretty well tell me what their sales are going to be in October. Because most people don't change. They just the same, just keep going the same. Month in, month out, they're almost the same. If they're stars all the time. And if they're just running, you're wondering whether you're going to keep them or fire them, that's where they are all the time. People generally stay where they are. They don't change too much. And that's what these programs are all about. That's what we teach. That's what our master class is about. That's what our inner circle is about. And that's what our consulting is about. We teach the consultants how to go out and sell this and teach this. And the people that do it earn a lot of money, but they should earn a lot of money because the amount of money you earn is in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. So as you get good at this, you're earning a lot of money. See, this is needed all over the world. I've worked in Shanghai, I've worked in Buenos Aires, I've worked in Singapore, in Australia, in New Zealand. I've worked all over Europe, all over North America. Everywhere we go, they need what we've got. We fill the need, and you get well compensated for it. But you've got to change the paradigm or nothing changes. And unfortunately, with most people, not much changes. You know, they're same one year to the next. And that's rather sad. They got all this potential, and it's not being utilized. If I was advising this just when you told me, I'd tell him to quit his job. If you're in a job where you're mentally exhausted at the end of the day, you want to get the hell out of there because you're going to make yourself sick. Now, you talk about procrastination, I'll tell you exactly what to do. Get this book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He's got a whole chapter here on decision. Read it every day for 60 days. Same chapter. And I'd recommend you read it with someone. They don't have to be with you. Get on the phone. And you read a few lines, and when you've read a number of lines, then you say pass. They pick up right there, and they keep reading. When they get to a certain point, they say pass, you pick it up and reading. So you're reading even when they're reading, and they're reading when you're reading. It's just that you're not talking. Only one's talking at a time. So you're mentally watching them, and you're reading yourself. The opposite of procrastination is decision. People procrastinate because they don't know how to make a decision. And that's the fault of the parent. Parents don't teach kids how to make a decision. They make the decisions for them. They don't want them to get hurt. They want them to be successful. So they make all the decisions. The kids leave home, they don't know what the hell to do. They don't know how to make decisions. I never made decisions for my kids. They had to make the decision themselves. They'd say, what do you think, Dad? And I said, I don't know. It's up to you. What do you think? You got to think. It's your decision. You're going to make up your mind. You know? I remember Raymond, my youngest son. He's a big guy. And he came to me one time. And he's, Dad, I'm thinking I'm quitting the swimming team. What do you think? I said, well, I don't know. I'm not on the swimming team. What the hell you asked me for? And I said, why are you thinking of quitting? Well, he said, I've been thinking about it, and I'm not going to need swimming when I leave here if I get a job. And I said, well, unless you're going to be a lifesaver, this is probably true. And I knew he was lying to me. It had nothing to do with not being able to use it when he left. He didn't like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go and dive in a cold pool. And we'd hear him get up. If you're on a swim team, you get up, you practice in the morning. So we'd hear him leave the house at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I knew he didn't like doing that. And he wanted to quit doing that. And so I said, well, it's your decision, Ray. I said, have you talked to your coach? Well, no. I said, well, you should talk to your coach. I said, I went over here, watched you one time and talked to your coach. He said, you're a really important part of the swim team. You're running swim and anchor, and that's an important part. You're a good swimmer. Well, I said, yeah, I know, but I'm thinking that it's not, And I said, well, you're going to make up your own mind, Ray. And he's fumbling around. He said, so that you're not going to, no, I said, I'm not telling you anything. So he's ready to leave. And I said, oh, Ray, I said, before you leave, here's something you want to think about. You're having trouble with this, aren't you? I mean, you're struggling with this. And he said, yeah. I said, the next time you go to quit something, it's going to be easier for you. And every time now you practice, it's going to be easier. You're going to become a professional quitter. So you won't do anything any good. But you go ahead. You do what you want. He says, oh, God. He wandered away. He didn't quit the swim team. See, people have a difficult time making decisions. You've got to learn how to make decisions. That chapter will help you do it. Read it over and over and over. It's one of the best things on decisions I've ever read. That is the only prerequisite for making a decision, is you want to. Hold on a minute. I'm going to find this. No. Hold on. It's in here. Not there. Stay with me. No. Stay with me. Hold on. That is a very, very important question. And here I know what to do. Just a minute. Here we go. I apologize for taking time, but you got to learn this because most people don't know this. Scott, find me a decision thing, we'll bring it back up.
Yeah, we can use the pad as well.
Yeah, but that doesn't work as good.
Okay.
This is so damn important because, wouldn't you believe it? Let's go to the next question and find that for me, Scott.
Okay, sure, Bob. This next question is, what is the difference between daydreaming and imagination?
Well, you daydream with your imagination. The difference between that's not necessarily a good question. The difference between daydreaming and visualizing is the question. You do both with your imagination. One is done toward a particular end with understanding. The other is not understood. You're just letting your mind wander, all kinds of beautiful, and that's what most people do. They daydream, they just let their mind wander all over the place. And they see all kinds of beautiful things, they take this trip, buy that car, build this nice home, and it's always a daydream. There's no direction, there's no understanding. If they only understood when one of those pictures was on their mind, and it's a beautiful picture, bang, like that, they should stop it and say, I'm doing it. Freeze that idea in their mind. Andrew Carnegie told Napoleon Hill, any idea that is held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate physical form that's available. Now, that's vitally important, vitally important. We've got to understand when your imagination takes you somewhere, you're going somewhere. Your imagination is taking you to someplace in this universe. And when you see something, there is a place. Stop there, nail it, say, that's what I'm going to do. Listen, I've told you this before. In 1973, I sat on a sofa in a little den in a house in Maplewood Lane in Glenview, Illinois. And I took my pen and I took my pad and I wrote on it, I will build a company that operates all over the world. I had absolutely no idea how I was going to do it. But I knew if I could see it, I could do it. I understood that. I had studied enough that I got to that point. About a month ago, Mikey, who's on here with me, she called me at home in the evening and said, Bob, I think you'd like to know, we just went into every country in the world. Now, do you see, we were directed, we've been guided. I follow my intuition. We built this studio. This is a television station in my backyard, literally a television station. We got multiple cameras, we got editing, we've got everything. We can broadcast all over the world from here. And we went into every country in the world. That was an idea that I held in my mind. If you get an idea in your mind, don't treat it like daydreaming. Nail it, write it down. Say, and if you really want it, say, I'm going to do that. And the way will come to you. If you hold the idea, you will attract it. Let me show you this. Hold on, put the screen up, Scott. Look here for a moment. Here's your mind. We'll say there's your body. Now, there's a power flowing into your conscious mind. It's a pure, unadulterated power. It just is. Pure spirit. You build ideas out of that. And you take that idea and you impress it upon your subjective mind. That idea must move into form. It absolutely must. Look at. See this? The subconscious mind is universal intelligence. So that idea, it's on a frequency. Everywhere in the world, that frequency is. Whatever is required for the manifestation of that idea is going to be attracted to you, because that idea controls the vibration that you're in. The vibration you're in dictates what you attract. The idea controls the vibration. So intellectually, emotionally, and physically, you're on a frequency, and you will attract everything that's on that frequency. The trick is stay on the frequency. Look, if I phone you, I can have you and we can talk. We can look at each other. You could be on the other side of the world, but we can look at each other and talk. We're both in the same place at the same time. It's because we're on the same frequency. Now, I've mentioned before, when I was a little boy, we didn't have a phone at our house because we couldn't afford one. And then when we could afford one, we had to settle for a party line. There was all kinds of other people on the same frequency. Why was it like that? Because we weren't aware at that time as a people that there's an infinite number of frequencies. We weren't aware of that. Everybody's got a phone today because there's so many frequencies. Millions. There's an infinite number of frequencies. When we get on a phone, we're on the same frequency as somebody else. Well, when you get that idea in your mind here, that idea is on a frequency. And everything that's on that frequency you'll attract. Everything. You heard, if you get it in religion, seek ye first his kingdom in its righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. We've been taught 6 ways to Sunday. If we had our ear to the ground, we would hear the message. Okay? Okay, let me do it again. Put the screen up again. When you, first of all, this power flows in, you have complete freedom, absolute freedom of what you build. And no one can take that away from you. Viktor Frankl spent the war years in a concentration camp. A psychiatrist, a Viennese psychiatrist, very bright man. He wrote a good book, you want to get it, Man's Search for Meaning. It's a phenomenal book. While he was in the concentration camp, he said he became aware no one could cause him to think something he didn't want to think. You can think anything you want. Now, the idea you've got, build a big idea. It's an idea that you love. You want to love it. That means you're in harmony with it. And then you impress it upon your subjective mind. Okay? Now, when you do that, understand the subjective mind is universal intelligence. We call it the subjective mind, but that's actually what it is. And so, you know what frequency you're on? You're on the frequency that that idea is on. See, your frequency on the phone has a number. If I've got your number, I can dial in on your frequency and your phone will ring if you're not on it. You get thinking of another person, they have cells in their brain that resonate with your thoughts. And if I concentrate on that person, I concentrate and they stop thinking, I will activate those cells in their brain and they'll start thinking of me. I can get them to phone me. I concentrate on talking to them on the phone. Just hold the idea in my mind. Doesn't matter where they are. When they stop thinking, my thought is so strong, I will activate cells in their brain, and that will cause pictures to come on their mind. They'll pick up the phone and phone me. That's called thought transference. It goes on all the time. You see, our problem is we know so little about ourselves. The more you learn about yourself, the more you can monetize it, the more you can do great things with it. You know? Like, listen, I was 26 when I picked this up. I'm 87 now. Still going like a rocket. Most people my age are in an old home or something with a walker. Somebody's feeding them or some damn thing. Whatever idea you hold in your mind, I have no intentions of slowing down. I got the Bellagio booked for a seminar on 2034, my birthday. The idea dictates the frequency. And when you can see the idea and hold it in your mind, you'll attract everything. Now, somebody asked a question, how long does it take? No one knows. No one knows. We did not always know that it took 70 days for a seed for a carrot to grow into a carrot. We didn't always know that. We didn't always know how long it took wheat to grow. We didn't know that. You know, farmers used to grow short corn, and they were called dumb farmers. That's because they were dumb farmers. And the dumb farmers sent their kids out to agricultural college, and the kids got smart, and they learned that if you move the crop around to different fields, you're going to get a better crop. See, the seed for wheat will suck all the energy out of the earth that it requires to grow. And if you leave it in the same field, you're depleting the energy that causes wheat to grow. But if you move it over this field, it gets more energy and you grow greater wheat. So that's why they start circulating their crops. We didn't always know how long it took those seeds to grow. No one knows. This is what you call a spiritual seed. That's what an idea is. No one knows what the gestation period is. No one knows yet. I believe one day we will become aware. Now, I have seen a couple of people guess at the date and hit it right on the nose. Hit it. John Canary used to work with me. He lived in Belleville, Ontario. He set up March the 1st, 1974. He was going to do a seminar for me in Belleville. I was living in Chicago. We had the seminar all set. We were selling it. The night before, I was flying out of Chicago. Chicago got shut down in a snowstorm. John Canary had to do the seminar, and it was on the date he had on his gold card. There was another guy, George Fint. He was a vice president with the Prudential in Chicago. He set a goal of being promoted to senior vice president. On the day that he had on his card, he got it. They guessed right at the date. You don't know, you're guessing. Now, if you say, I'm going to guess, I'm going to do it on a certain date, and you get there and it hasn't happened, you've just guessed the wrong date. Give yourself an extension, keep going. I have been off by as much as 13 months. I set a goal of being vice president of retail sales for the Nightingale Conant Corporation on a certain date. And the date came and went. I didn't get it. 13 months later, I got it. I just kept the picture in my mind. I kept acting like I was already there. Well, here, look it. Go to the screen again. There's ideas coming in. Now, you can pretty well bet if you're watching television, you're going to get hit with some real negative crap. If you're reading the newspaper, you're going to get inundated with real negative stuff. Quit watching the TV. Quit reading the newspaper. If there's anything important for you to learn, you'll pick it up in conversation as you go through the day. Get some damn good books out. Study what we're studying. Get into the positive information. Only have positive information. And when a negative idea comes along, get rid of it. Never talk about your health unless you're talking to a doctor. People love talking about bad health. There's something wrong with me. There's this wrong. Quit talking to them. Change the subject. You've got the ability here to accept or reject. Your subconscious doesn't have that ability. It has no ability to reject whatever you impress. That's the way it is. And that's the vibration you'll move into. This is an absolute law. And when a negative idea comes in, and understand that you're all hooked up here, you'll attract all the negative that goes along with that. Have you ever noticed some people, they just seem to be they just drain you of energy. They're so negative. They literally drain your energy. Get the hell away from them. Don't go around them. Listen, think of this. I want you to imagine you're selling and you're going in on a call. Before you go in on the call, put yourself in a magnificent vibration. See yourself really helping this person and loving to help them. And when you walk in and you shake hands with them, they're going to pick up that energy. Now, if you go in and you're nervous and you shake hands, they're picking up nervous energy. Who wants to be with somebody that's nervous? I don't want to be around them. You're going to want to get the hell away from them. Some people, they just love you coming to visit because you're upbeat. Other people, they got problems. They don't know how to do this. That's a bunch of crap. They're in the habit of choosing negative ideas. Choose the positive ideas. You attract it. People love you for it. Okay? But I'm going to say this R represents where you are right now, present results. There's 1 star you're shooting at. Now you said you had 4 or 5. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? Let's say that's Mount Everest. That's the peak of Mount Everest. Ed Hillary had to get to base camp before he could get to Mount Everest, didn't he? Before he could get to the peak. He had to get to base camp. You pick the one that's the biggest, that's the best. That's the star you're shooting at. These things you'll automatically get as you go toward it. They're stepping stones. They will fall into place. Let's suppose you're living in, I don't know, in Nashville, Tennessee, and your objective is to get to the Beverly Hotel in Los Angeles. So it will say, here I am here in Nashville. Here's the Beverly. Well, I'm going to be going from, let's say, Tennessee. I'm going to drive through Dallas, Texas, so I can visit Dallas. I'm going to go from Dallas, and I'll go to Phoenix. I could visit Phoenix. And I go to Phoenix to Palm Springs. I could visit Palm Springs. So I'm going to visit these places. They could be stops on the road. I'm going to get there to get here. So you only have one goal. You focus on one thing. You can enjoy all these other things as you go toward it. No, absolutely not. We will help you. That's what the coaching's all about. We're going to teach you how to pick the goal, how to reach the goal, how to enjoy the goal. Listen, I don't know, I'm going to be honest, I don't know anyone in the world that teaches what we teach. Now, there may be some people who picked up some of this. I have been fortunate enough to have the best teachers over the past 60 years. And I am one hell of a good student. This is all I study. I don't study anything else. I don't even do anything else. I'm useless around the house. I didn't used to be, but I am now. I do nothing else. This is all I do. I don't do anything else in the company. I just study this and teach this. That's what our consultants do. That's what our coaching program is all about. This is the best you're going to find. You won't find anything better than this, I'll tell you. Not to say that because my name's on it. I didn't originate it. I just had the best teachers you're ever going to find. Look, let me show you something here. Hold on. What the hell is that? I've got to find it. That's not it.
I'll get it for you, Bob.
You get it? Pull it up. I want it right now. Patty slide. Have you got it there? There we are. All right, here. Now, some of you have real big ideas. And here's where you're at. I'll put the screen up. Big ideas. Here's a big idea for you. Put that screen up, Scott. This is my millionaire mindset. It has given me a life that most people just dream of living. Mindset will do the same for you if you invest in your future today. Now, this is a special class. We've never taught it before like this. We did teach the $1 Million Forum. That's where the Chicken Soup for the Soul books came from. We had a $1 Million Forum. We were teaching people to earn $1 million. It was a long time ago. A group of us got in it. Well, we're going to now do a millionaire mindset class. And it's only going to be done with 30 people, no more, just 30 people. This is going to be one phenomenal class. It's expensive. It costs $150,000, but we will show you how to earn millions. Now look at, this is not a trick. It's not a game. You look at that, and there's going to be all kinds of people. Here's where they're at. They'd say, my God, you know, hold on a minute. And they say, hold on, put the screen up, Scott. And there it is. That's something I really want. And then they instantly reject it. They say, oh, I don't know how I could afford it. You don't have to know how to afford it. You just have to know you want it. See, our problem is we want stuff and then we instantly think of why we can't have it. I want you to look at all the furniture in the room you're in. Do you know you don't need any of that furniture? You got it all because you wanted it. Everything we get because we want. When you really want something, that is the only prerequisite to getting it. That's your prerequisite for making the decision. Don't spend 5 seconds thinking of why you can't if you want it. Just spend your time thinking of how you will. I'll put the screen back up. Thanks, Grant. Now look at this slide. This is going to be one phenomenal class. Now there's a rule in it, though. You got to do exactly what I'm telling you. Look here, just make that smaller, Scott. Look here for a moment. When Ray Stanford gave me this book, he said, if you'll do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Now I'm going to tell you something. I did not believe that, but I believed he believed it. You may think I can't do that, but you know that I can teach you. You know I can. You just know that because it's the truth and you'll feel it. This is something I'm very good at. I learned the greatest lesson when Ray gave me this book. I did exactly what he told me. Now, I had never done what anybody told me before in my life. Never, in my whole life. I got into all kinds of problems. I was in the Navy because I wouldn't do what I was told. I paid more damn fines. All the pay I got, I paid in fines because I wouldn't do what I was told. But for some strange reason, when I was 26, he said, do exactly what I tell you. And I started to do it. Now, I turned that into part of my paradigm. When I met Val Vanderwall then, phenomenal teacher, one of the greatest teachers I ever met, I did exactly what Val told me. Then I got Earl Nightingale and Lloyd Conant. I became their vice president of sales. I did exactly what they told me. Then I got Dr. C. Harry Roeder. I did exactly what he told me. I have had a number of wonderful mentors. Bill Gove was one of the greatest mentors in the world. He was one of the greatest speakers. I have looked and I have found the very best. And I have done whatever I had to do to study with them. And I did exactly what they told me. Blow this up again. You get involved in this. You just think of how you can if you want to get involved. Just think of how you can. You send a message to our Arash, A-R-A-S-H, Arash, at Proctor Gallagher. And I'm going to tell you, if you'll do exactly what we tell you, you're going to live the life that I'm living, that Arash is living. Because you can do it. Because you know something? Every one of us are God's highest form of creation. We've got power, we've got potential that's beyond the scope of our imagination. Excellent question. And I'll tell you how you do it. Listen, first of all, you have to understand, how do you believe? How do you develop belief? Most people, we're not taught how. Our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. Frequently, when we reevaluate a thing, we change our belief about it. Our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. Frequently, when we reevaluate a situation, our belief about it will change. When you have trouble believing, you can keep going. When you're having financial problems, study. I want you to keep a record of all your wins. Keep a little book with all the wins you have in it. Pick about 10 real good wins. And mentally think, how was I thinking when I won that? How was I thinking when I did that? And you'll go back onto those frequencies. They're winning frequencies. Record your wins and think of them. You're struggling financially, you have trouble believing that you're going to keep going. Keep studying. Take a particular, when I tell you I did with this, I read the same page every day. Let me read it. It's an old saying that order is heaven's first law. And like many other old sayings, it contains a much deeper philosophy than appears immediately on the surface. Getting things into a better order is the great secret of progress. That's what you got to do. You got to get things in a better order. All right? Getting things in a better order is the great secret of progress. We're now able to fly through the air, not because the laws of nature have altered, but because we have learned to arrange things in the right order. The Wright brothers got things in the right order, and they got us in the air. You're going to get in the air with your goal when you get things in the right order. If you're worried, quit worrying, because whatever you worry, you're attracting. Look at this. Put the screen up, Scott. Worry is over here. It's on the negative side. It's the same as worry and doubt. Over here is the positive side. Do you know if you worry, you're building a negative idea, you're emotionally involved, you will attract whatever you're worrying about. The great sufferer, Job, in the Bible, what did he say? Lo, the thing I fear has come to visit upon me. Damn right. See, the worry is on a conscious level. The worry turns into fear. The fear turns into anxiety. The anxiety is suppressed. The suppression turns to depression. Get over here. Over here is where your belief is. You got to believe. That gives you faith here. That gives you well-being here. You see, it's all a sequence, and it all operates by order. Quit. I don't worry about anything. Nothing. I never worry. I will not worry. There are things that I'm concerned about. I'm not going to worry about them. I write them down, and I know damn well I'm going to solve them. I'll write them down, and I take a look at them. And if I can't solve them, I'll go and do something else. I'll come back and look at it later on. You can solve every problem. Write it down and look at it. Get objective about it. Get it out of your head. If you've got a problem, write the problem on paper. Put the problem in the middle of the table. And then say, is that problem on the paper or is it in me? Get it out of your head and get it on the paper. Then you start to look at it objectively. Quit getting involved in the negativity. There's a great book that was written by Terry Cole Whitaker. The title of it is, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business. You've got to get to a point where you don't give a damn what other people think of you. I spent a long time, I used to be concerned what people thought of me. I could care less what people think of me today. You know what I care about? What I think of me. I want to have a good opinion of me. I'm not talking about conceit. I'm talking about a healthy awareness of who I am. God's highest form of creation. I've been blessed with mental faculties that I continually work at developing. And that's what I want to recommend you do. Quit worrying about what, first of all, it's none of your business what other people think of you. So quit being concerned about it. Say, I'm going to start today. I am not going to let anybody's thoughts of me bother me. I don't care what they think. I hope they like me. And if they don't, that's their problem, not mine. That's a tough lesson to learn. But by God, when you learn it, you're away to the races. Do you agree with that, Peter? Damn right. Peter says that's right, so that settles it. I am just in kindergarten, for goodness sake. We're dealing with infinite knowledge. Infinite knowledge. Do you see, the truth is, I get a pool right outside my door. There's a pool between the studio and the house. It's full of water. The water's warm. I could walk right across the top of that pool. I could. If I knew how. I don't know how. But I could make my body weightless and walk across it. I haven't learned how to do that yet. I haven't learned how to do that. I've learned how to make my body as rigid as a piece of steel. I can suspend myself between two chairs and you can stand on me, I won't bend. But I don't know how to make myself weightless. You see, there's an infinite infinite amount of knowledge. You can tell by your results what you know. I still have problems with different things that I haven't solved yet. I'm working on it. I want to get across to more people. You see, if I knew enough, I would have every one of you studying with me every day. I'd have every one of you earning more money. I'd have every one of you quit worrying. I'd have every one of you developing your children properly, giving your children the right idea, making sure that you're not screwing up with their paradigm. I don't know enough to sell every one of you yet. I believe I can, but I haven't got there yet. That's why I keep studying every day. Develop the confidence you could walk across the room. You developed it by walking across the room. You fell, you whacked your head, and you're a little kid. Did you lay there forever because it hurt? You fell and whacked? No, you got up and you kept walking, and you fell again. But you got up and you kept walking. That's how you do it. You get on the phone, and you get talking to them. Don't let a negative thought in your mind. You sit and you imagine how you're going to help them. And understand a sales presentation's nothing but a calm, relaxed conversation. Just say, hi, Pete, how are you? You know, where are you from? You from here? You know, how'd you move here? You know, what do you do? How'd you get into that? And you've got to be really interested in their answer. Do you know something? When you're really interested in their answers, when you're talking to them, you know what they're going to say? You're an interesting person. Why are you interested? Because you're interested. Get interested in the person you're talking to. Get interested in your prospect. Learn as much as you can about them. Your whole objective is to help them. That's my objective, is to help you. That's all I think about. This, in my millionaire mindset, that's going to be a course. It's going to blow your mind. I've been thinking of doing this for a long time, and Arash said, I think it's time. And I said, you know something, Arash, I think you're right. We're going to make millionaires. This boom, boom, boom. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be big. It's going to be hot. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it because I know you can do it. See, I earn millions of dollars. I fly private. I just phone and say, send me the plane. I fly with NetJets. You could fly with NetJets if you want. It only costs you about $10,000 an hour. Fly wherever you want. Why wouldn't you do that? I'm doing that. Why didn't I do that before? Because I didn't know how. Live the way you want to live. Life is short. It's very short. And then it's all over. You're meant to really live here. Live. Live. Really live. This lesson hardly anybody understands. There's Andrew Carnegie and Napoleon Hill. This is in 1908. Andrew Carnegie was the wealthiest man in the world. Now, he didn't come from a wealthy family. His family moved over from Scotland to the east coast of the United States, and they had virtually nothing. He was the little boy, grew up, became the wealthiest man in the world by 1908. Napoleon Hill was a reporter for a little magazine. The magazine was writing a story on wealthy people. Hill lucked out. He got a 3-hour interview with Andrew Carnegie. Now, what Hill didn't understand, Carnegie was looking for someone. He was looking for someone to write the laws of achievement. He said it's an absolute crime, like people like myself, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, they're all living at the same time. They're all going to their grave with all the knowledge they had locked up in their bones. Nobody had recorded what they knew. So he was looking for somebody to write the laws of achievement. So, well, he asked Hill a question. And he said, wait a minute, let me back this up. Okay. Yeah. And Carnegie had interviewed over 250 people looking for someone that could do this. Now, he asked Hill, he said, I'm going to ask you a question, and I only want a yes or no answer. Just a yes or no answer. What he didn't tell him, I'm only going to give you 60 seconds to answer the question. Here's the question. Would you spend the rest of your life on an idea for which you would probably receive no material compensation for at least 20 years? In 29 seconds, Hill said, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Now, Carnegie knew that if you took a long time to make a decision, you're probably not going to do it. See, if you don't make decisions fast, you're letting your paradigm make the decision, and you're never going to go beyond where you're at. You got to make fast decisions. Now, after he got going, he said, now, Napoleon, you're going to have a real problem with this. He said, because I'm not going to subsidize you. You're going to have to pay your own way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce you to all the most successful people, the most accomplished people in the world, about 500 of them. I want you to study them. I want you to find out what they're doing and record it. I want you to write the laws of achievement. Now, he said, I'm going to give you an affirmation to use. He says, you've chosen to do a tough thing. Here's the affirmation. I want you to write this out. Andrew Carnegie, I am not only going to equal your achievements in life, but I'm going to challenge you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. Here's Napoleon Hill. He's broke. He said he was glad Hill took him home with him, or Carnegie took him home. He didn't have enough money to rent a hotel room. And now Carnegie's getting him to say to him, Andrew Carnegie, I am not only going to equal your achievements in life, but I'm going to challenge you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. Hill said he threw his pen on the floor and he said, you know darn well that's not going to happen. He said, I know it's not, Napoleon, unless and until you plant that idea in your subconscious mind. Now, I've studied this. Andrew Carnegie made something like 50 millionaires in his life. Napoleon Hill has made millions of millionaires. Millions of millionaires. He did what the job called for. There's John Kennedy talking to Dr. Werner von Braun. He asked Werner von Braun a question. What would it take to build a rocket that'll carry a person to the moon and bring him back safely to Earth? These aren't little questions. These are big questions. Von Braun answered them, and he answered them with the will to do it, and he did that in 10 seconds. He gave him the answer. He knew All you needed was the will to do it. If you have the will to do it, it'll happen. Now look it. You got to control the thought energy that flows freely to and through you, improving everything with which it connects. These are frequencies. Let these lines represent levels of vibration. Levels of vibration are referred to as frequencies. We think on frequencies. Your thought is energy. Thought waves are cosmic waves. Do you know that thought is the most potent form of energy in the universe? Thought would make the laser beam look like a toy. Now look it. There's your thoughts, your thinking, and it's your thoughts that produce your results. However, because you're a spiritual being and spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression, there's something in you that always wants you to do better. If you run, you want to run faster. If you jump, you want to jump higher. If you sell, you want to sell more. There's something within us that wants us to do things in a greater way. That's our spiritual essence. So those are the results, but we say, that's where I want to go. And because of our ignorance, we let it fall. We say, I'm going to do that as soon as I get the money. We're letting the results control us. You can't do that. You got to control the results. When you say you're going to do that, you're going to do that. You don't base it on anything when the kids are out of school. You've got to make your decision. And if you don't, pretty soon the decision dies. And then pretty soon the goal dies. And you never do go after it. The dream dies. Why? Well, here's why. You're thinking here on this frequency. Your goal is way up here in this frequency. That's like turning on an AM radio band and wishing you were getting FM music. You got to get on an FM frequency if you want FM music. You want to earn millions, you got to get on $1 million frequency. Now look at here. Your mind and thoughts have to be up here. You've got to make a committed decision. When you do that, you got to let go of the past. You can't hold on to the past and expect to get the future. A committed decision, and what do? You've got to think and act like the person you want to become. You don't stay down here. When you make a committed decision, you get up here and you start thinking on that frequency. This is not a kid's game. This is not for lightweights. If you want to change, you got to do it, and you got to do it now. No screwing around. This is serious stuff. It's your life you're dealing with. Now look at. Want is the only prerequisite for making a decision. You want to do something? Do you want to? That's it. Then you just think of how you can. You don't spend 5 seconds thinking of why you can't. When I started this, I was by myself in a den in a little house on Maplewood Lane in Glenview, Illinois. No idea how I was going to do this. We have a phenomenal team of people in this company. We have attracted some of the best people in this company you're going to find anywhere. That young lady that we're talking to, Mikey, I've mentioned before, she was a nanny when she came to us. A nanny looking after little kids. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have executive experience. She come and she took a job and she started to study. I remember one day she asked me what I was reading, and I told her it was one of the heaviest books you can get, the Edinburgh Lectures of Mental Science. She said, could I read that? And I said, you sure can. I took it and I just autographed it to her and gave it to her. She started to study real good stuff. Today, she's a senior executive in our company. If you talk to Sandy Gallagher, who's our chief executive officer, she will tell you that she values Mikey's work as much as anybody. She's so well organized. She wanted what she's got. You got to want what you got. You don't think of why you can't. You only think of how you can. That's why successful people make decisions fast. And he tells you that in this chapter on decision. You got to make decisions fast. If you take longer than 10 seconds to make a decision, it's your paradigm that's making a decision. You're basing it on what you've got. You don't make a decision what you want on what you've got. It's on what you want. It's so simple. You see, that's why von Braun knew that all you needed, if you wanted to go to the moon, you just need the will to do it, baby, and you're on your way. That's what you need. You want something? There's your lesson on decision. Do you want to know something? You'll be fortunate if you find more than 2 people out of 100 that understood what I just taught. Most people do not understand this. Well, they'll say, that's ridiculous. That's illogical. Listen, if the Wright brothers had been logical, we would never have got in the air. A couple of bicycle mechanics, totally illogical. Their neighbors thought they were crazy. Their dad was a bishop in some Reformed church. He told them they were going to burn in hell for learning because want to fly. Study a little history. It's all there. You can have anything you want, but you've got to think of how you got to want. A PGI consultant, we're setting a person up in their own business. It's a $30,000 investment for the business. We will finance 2/3 of it for you. We have a complete training program. The young lady you saw on here the other day, she left a business with IBM. She's earning $500,000 a year. She's going to earn millions in this. We train you how to present a program. We have the program. You don't have to know what I know. We've got it all, and you give them the program. Then you just answer questions on the program. It's all the training's there. You're trained all the time. We support you. Our whole company is supporting you. We have some phenomenal consultants all over the world. Great people. And they came from every background you can think of. Now, one lady, as we mentioned, she was IBM, she was a vice president of marketing. Very responsible position. But you don't have to come from an executive position. All you have to do is want to share this information with people. If you want to share this information, we show you exactly how to do it. We work with you right around the clock. We've got stuff online. You can go and study it all the time. We have videos, got information. We will teach you how to do it. I'm going to tell you something. I was in a business. I was earning over $1 million a year. I had offices Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, London, England. I was in England at the time. And I found a magazine, Success Unlimited. It was put out by W. Clement Stone. Nightingale Conant advertised, and they advertised for people that wanted to work with Earl Nightingale. Bang! I was gone. I left my business, and I became a consultant. That's how I got into this business. It cost $5,000 at the time. That was in about 1963, something like that. And as soon as I started, I made up my mind I was going to work with Earl. In 1968, I was his vice president of sales. I was working directly with him. I have been in this business ever since. I absolutely love it. Now, I left a job where I was earning over $1 million. I took a job for $18,000 a year. I was prepared to pay them to let me work there. This is the best information. This is the best kind of a business. You won't find anything better than this. This is absolutely a phenomenal business. You can tell I obviously love it. But the people that come into this, they fall in love with it. You're helping other people. You're helping other people get onto a positive frequency. So many people spend all their life thinking of why they can't do something. They're not good enough. You are God's highest form of creation. I mentioned earlier, if you just look at your hand, there's enough potential energy in your hand to light up a building, a large building, for nearly a week. You're a walking dynamo. We've got to control the flow of the energy. We've got to learn how to make decisions to start living. Let's start living today. What I'm telling you is true, and you know it's true. You feel it's true. Do you know why you know it's true? Because it resonates with the essence of who you are. When you hear the truth, you'll know it. I want to explain why that's true. When you hear the truth, you'll know it. That's a saying we've heard for years. If you have a radio, you could turn it on, you'd hear music. And there's music in this room now. There's all kinds of music. There's talk radio, there's movies playing, everything in this room. We don't see it because we're not on the frequency it's on. Now, if we brought a radio in here and turned it on like that, we'd hear the music. We'd hear the music that was on that frequency. The essence of you is perfect. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. The essence of you, there's perfection within you. Perfection, that's a big idea. That perfection seeks expression with and through you. When you hear the truth resonates with that perfection that's within you. They're in harmony, they're in sync, it resonates, and you just know it's true. That's like the radio frequency. It resonates. You resonate with the truth. This is the greatest business in the world. First of all, I want to thank you for coming on, spend the week with us. And hopefully we shared something with you that will change the direction of your life. It certainly changed the direction of our life. I sit with my brother and sister frequently, who are both working. My brother's younger than me, my sister's older. She's, I think, going on 89. I'm 87, and my brother's 86. And we've got lots of steam left in us. You know, we pretty good gene pool, I guess. And we just keep going. Your age has got nothing to do with it. It's your mental state that's got everything to do with it. It's your awareness. Well, become aware of who you are. That's what this is all about. Become aware of what you can do. Bet on yourself. You're the best bet in the world. There's so much good in you. There's so much good you can share. That's what we do. That's what we do. And I'm going to tell you something. Let me pull that up again. Where is it? Put that slide up, Scott. The Millionaire Mindset. Put it up full screen. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this. Okay? Is it going up? Where is it? Scott, put it up. You got it?
It's on your computer, Bob.
It's on my computer. Okay, well, hold on a minute. That's not it. Not on my computer. It is not on my computer. Here, this will do. It's not the same slide, but it's a good one. Look here. This millionaire mindset has given me a life that most people just dream of living. Mindset will do the same for you. Invest in your own future today. Listen. Someone say, well, how do we know what you're telling us is the truth? I've been around for 60 years. I've got a reputation that's impeccable all over the world with some of the largest companies in the world. I got a call from somebody here, it was about 2-3 years ago now. One of our service ladies phoned and said, Bob, there's a man wants you to phone him. And he left his number. His name is Rudy Michaud. Rudy Michaud controlled 40% of the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. He ran almost this whole company. He was a senior vice president. I did work for him 30, 40 years ago. His daughter saw me on television one day and said, Dad, I think that's the guy you used to get to work for you. And it was. And he phoned our office and he left a number. And so I phoned him. He said, Bob, I just wanted to thank you for the good work you did for me 25, 30 years ago. I worked with that whole company. I worked with all Prudential. I worked with all Great Eastern over in Asia. I worked with all the Malaysia Airlines. I've worked with most of the biggest companies in the world, United States Steel. I'm going to tell you, I get a good reputation for this. This is all I do. All I want to do is get through to you. I want you to understand this. I want you to step out and bet on yourself. That's what I did. That's what everybody does that's successful in this business. And I'm going to tell you something. You can do it. Throw that slide up again, Scott. We'll leave with it. My millionaire mindset has given me the life that most people just dream of living. And it really has. God, I live a good life. I was just saying this morning, I'm so grateful for everything that I have. I am truly grateful. You should be grateful for everything you got. Gratitude hooks you up to your source of supply. Mindset will do the same for you. Bet on yourself today. Do not walk away without betting on yourself. We've got great classes. We've got Inner Circle. That's where you really get into some good information. We've got the Master Class. That's where I teach what I've learned. And then we have this mega class. These 30 people, their lives will change like night and day. Big, big thing. Send a message to Arash. Say, Arash, talk to me.